Good morning. We are here with the City of Delavan current mayor, Ryan Schroeder. We're going to talk a little bit about your campaign today. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate the opportunity that you're giving to both candidates. And more importantly, it gives the voters themselves an opportunity to learn more about each of us and our position. So Thank you for doing this.
We thought this was a good idea because the information is available 24/7 to people. And so, they can go back and listen to it more than once if something raises a question. So, we thought this was a great format this year and people seem to really be liking it. So we will get started. We're going to ask the same 3 questions to you that we asked to your opponent. So the very first one, well, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background. Just kind of introduce yourself to everybody.
Thank you again. I'm a proud 7th generation Delavan, Darien, Walworth County resident, raised here on my mom's side of the family, graduated from Delavan, Darien High School. My family taught me the importance of getting involved at a very young age and giving back to my community, trying to make it better. And I'm proud to say that at the age of 24, I ran for city council, ran against an incumbent, knocked on all kinds of doors, listened, and got elected. And I'm proud to say that I'm certainly not 24 anymore.
So that's where you got that's where you got the fever. That is.
Right? And so served nearly 20 years as a city alderman until being elected. Couldn't have come into the job as mayor at a more challenging time, April of 2020 during COVID.
Right.
No playbook, nothing to tell me how to do the job in a very uncertain and challenging time. But I think the teamwork, working together with all community stakeholders, the council, we've really succeeded, set ourselves apart from other neighboring communities, and that's where we're at right now. And
awesome.
I just tells you a little bit about myself, that experience is a big thing for me and what I'm running on, and I think that helps with the being the mayor right now and over the last 6 years. Again, we've got a great community. I think not only do I hear it from the residents, but I hear it from when I'm getting out at chamber events all over the county, like, wow, you're really doing some good stuff in Delavan, in recent years and stuff. So it makes the job and all the hard work worthwhile.
Well, that's great. That leads us to our first question, because you have been in there for several years. So the very first question that we asked is, what are the top 3 issues that you feel need immediate attention in the city of Delavan?
Yeah, great question. Not necessarily importance ranked first 1 through 3, but certainly the top 3. I think we're seeing a real need for additional industrial land. Okay. It's been a good problem. We've seen more new manufacturing and industry come in over the last 6 years. Businesses have come to Delavan from other communities, not only been a part of our community, but then when they've been there, they've succeeded and they're doing expansions. In fact, just earlier this week, I was at a ribbon cutting to open up an additional 30,000 square foot addition for a business that had recently come from another municipality, Aqua Revival, and they're doing really well.
Nice.
And so, but it's a good problem to have, because now we're out of industrial space, and we're still getting those inquiries both through the state and through our local community. People reaching out directly, either to myself or our city administrator, wanting to locate. The word is out that we're business friendly. We're able. Our staff and myself are ready to meet with anyone that's wanting to be a part of our community. And sometimes it's hard to get on those planning commission agendas or get that personal time. But I pride myself on our team and how we make ourselves accessible and available, and try to work to bring those industries. So we're like everyone else. The land is at a premium right now, so we're trying to get creative on how we acquire some of that land, and of course how it pays for it. But that's one of the top issues. Also, we hear constantly, both we have identified it as a council. I also, on the next question, hear from the residents is workforce development housing, more affordable housing. I mean, and it's not just unique to our community of Delavan. It's all over Walworth County. I mean, there's been numerous articles about it. It's certainly all issues that the state of Wisconsin faces and other communities throughout the state. So it's not unique to just us, but it's nice that people have noticed Walworth County, noticed Delavan, and want to be a part of it. And so coming up with ways to have more housing, good housing, quality homes will help when you have the additional resources. And it's just like the old supply and demand thing. When there's more supply of it, then you can get more affordable when there's more options out there. And I would say one of the other top issues that has been important to myself, both as an alderman and now as mayor, is first responders. We've got truly one of the last volunteer fire departments in all of Walworth County. I hear about it all the time, and it's wonderful. They're still vested. They're doing recruiting. They're still able to get candidates, but it's harder and harder to find people that are willing to dedicate and truly be volunteers and all the training that goes into it. So the council and myself are very, very supportive of making sure that they have the tools and resources that they need to do the job, because it's so important. If people don't feel safe in their community, it doesn't really matter what else is going on there, because they're going to flock to other areas where they feel safer. And so the council and myself in the last few years recently have invested $5.4 million in across the board first responding dollars. EMS is another one. We have a contract, but if that contract ever ended and we had to go to full-time rescue, like we're seeing our neighboring communities go to referendum for it, I mean, it's not going to be very cost effective.
Right.
And so
right.
Those are three important
We
issues
talked about this before we started,
Mm-hmm.
that I have always said that if I am ever in that kind of position, just you have to know that anything that the police department, the fire department, EMS, basically your emergency services want, my vote will be yes.
Yes.
I mean, there's just you don't have a city if you don't have the safety. Plain and simple.
I couldn't agree more with you. And,
yeah. So, but that's interesting that they still have the volunteer fire department. That's, I mean, and because it's hard to get people to volunteer to do anything these days, let alone, put out a fire. I mean, geez. So,
and again, that's just when the alarms and the bells, but it's all the training away from the family to prepare for the worst.
Right.
And so we really value and respect the people, the men and women that wear the uniform and give back and serve all of us in that capacity.
We're talking with Mayor Ryan Schroeder. We have asked all of these candidates, several of them, to come in and answer a few questions. Ryan is doing that now, making it available to you so that you can go back and listen. And, if you have any other questions, obviously, you can reach out to Mayor Schroeder after you listen and gather up the rest of your questions. But the other question that we had, the second one, when local residents reach out to you, what are the top 3 issues that they are concerned about? The residents don't necessarily have the inside information, and everybody, to each his own, right? Everybody has their own priorities and family and work issues and things like that. So what are the top 3 things that they ask you about?
Yeah, great question. I would say it's a lot of it is infrastructure, like what's going on with roads and what roads are going to be. Can you fill that pothole? In fact, sometimes it's some of the frontage roads around the Walmart that we don't even own. And they're like, can you guys fix that pothole? And it's like, it's private property. We'd love to, but, that's up to Walmart and Lowe's.
This is true. I am witness to this. Can't believe I haven't seen you out there with a shovel. Been wondering.
We'll do that next week.
Right. Okay, yeah. People they do not understand the difference between public and private property.
Right.
Walmart is not public property.
Nope. No, it was just on our wonderful We Are Delavan page last week.
Really?
Someone had raised the question, is the city going to fix those potholes? And right away, a number of people realized and said right away, well, that's a private frontage road. That's not the city's responsibility. So that was good, but there's more that don't understand that.
That's right. Well, and I will say this too, that this Highway 50 project that's going through Lake Geneva, there is a lot of there are a lot of questions about that too, because that, even though it's Main Street, Lake Geneva, it is a state-owned highway. We have very limited ability to control what's happening with that construction. And so that is, people don't understand who owns what and what kind of jurisdiction you have. That is for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And I would say, obviously, the next big issue is taxes. I don't care. I know, right?
You don't care about taxes? What?
Death and taxes, right? And I think the reason why it comes up is people don't always understand. They just know that they pay their taxes at the end of the year to the city. They don't, and even though it's broken down on their tax bill, all the other taxing entities, Walworth County, the schools, Gateway, so on and so forth, they just look at the bottom line, which I can appreciate. But we are only responsible, obviously, for the city tax rate. And we have been very frugal. We have been efficient. And so some of the information out there hasn't always been accurate about where that city tax rate has been. And we've held the line while still providing a lot of great services that people have always relied on, but also getting creative on how we come up with new programs and services. So taxes, I don't care, again, what the economic environment is like. If it's bad, you're gonna hear about it more. If it's good times, you're still gonna hear about it. And so getting that message out of what we do truly control and how we're going about it with our budget is on us to message that, and also be available to have those discussions and stuff. So again, that's always going to be a big issue, and it's something that I hear. It was part of my other answer would be still the workforce housing and affordability. I mean, I hear that a lot and stuff, and certainly understand that. And again, it's not an issue that's just unique to Delavan. It's not one that we're only facing. It's all over the state. But we do have a plan, and I'm looking forward to working on that issue to the best of our ability and getting some positive results.
Sure. So the last question is, and this is really just kind of an open-ended question anyway. What do you believe is the strongest asset you bring to the table? Now, this can include experience, history, but it also can include your convictions on, I feel very strongly that we need to reach this goal and things like that. So what do you believe your strongest asset is that you do bring to the table in the campaign? Great
question. Hands down, without a doubt, it is the experience. Yeah. I think when, I don't care what profession you're in, you kind of get started, you're in the trenches, and you work your way up. Hopefully, I think a lot of us set goals and are always striving to attain and reach certain things, again, regardless of what profession it might be. And so I've worked really hard. I've invested my time, as I said, 25 years I've been involved with city government. And I'd like to think that it's because we care, obviously, about the community that we live in. We want to make a difference, like I said. Those were points that were instilled in me from a young age. And working with like-minded individuals, we may not always agree, but we can have a conversation, and we're all in it to ultimately better our community. And so I think hands down is having that experience. I know that's what served me really, really well when I came into the job as mayor in April of 2020. Again, there was no playbook. What do you do in a pandemic or COVID, and how, and we did things to kind of change some of the in that time to the rules and regulations to kind of open it up. I mean, one of the big things we did is open up our sidewalks to allow small businesses to social distance and have tables and chairs outside so they could stay open. Right. That's not something that a lot of other communities necessarily did. They closed up. We didn't want to close up. We wanted to be responsible and safe, but also to allow our small businesses to still have some business when there was certainly a lack of it. And again, I think it was still overwhelming to come in, but had I not had at that point 20 years of experience of just what was also remarkable is that when I came in as mayor, I had 5 new aldermen also come in, which is unheard of. And so none of you knew what you were doing. Well, very few. There was one alderman that had 2.5 years of experience, and I had 20. So I'd like to think that I could steady the ship. We did that. I think, again, some of those early programs and procedures that we put in place are what set our community apart and different from some of the other, and it's what's making us thrive now and continue to build on that success. I think one of the things that I pride myself on is listening. It's very low-hanging fruit, but no mayor currently before me had even done a regular listening session.
Right.
I do a regular listening session the first Saturday morning of each month just to give people that I serve another opportunity outside the formal setting of a meeting. I mean, it's intimidating to come. First, you got to find the time.
Right.
Then you got to get the courage to stand up and be in the spotlight and say something.
Right.
And so I want to make it as easy
because
and as
it's toothpaste, right?
Yeah,
Once you say it, it's not going back in the tube. Right. And then how many more millions of questions are you going to get if you're not? You're right. And it is very hard to get in front of people sometimes and do that. But you're right. People thrive on being able to communicate, I think.
I think so too. And just that, the experience, but also the accessibility of being, hey, I'm out here, I'm here, I'm willing to listen. Let me know. I'm a better representative when I hear from you. That's what I constantly tell people, not only at the doors, but at the events, is like, I want to hear from you.
Right.
A lot of the great ideas that I get, that I pass along to the council, is because I heard it from one of our citizens.
Sure. So can I just go back for 1 second and tell? So there is a difference between the city of Delavan and the town of Delavan.
Yes.
So can you explain those boundaries as well for people that don't know?
Yeah. And sometimes that gets a little fuzzy because,
and I know they're not straight lines.
Right.
And so
I would say the best way to explain it is that the town of Delavan is obviously more rural. They have the majority of the lake and around the lake. Everything from County F, east of that down towards Williams Bay.
Okay.
And so, it gets a little confusing because I get people, you're my mayor. And I'm like, no, actually I'm not. I'm like, I mean, I do have
they don't have a mayor?
No, they have a town chair. And we work, and I'll be honest, there was a real fight long before I was ever involved with city government about Lake Lawn Resort when they annexed into the city in the mid 1990s. And for some of the locals, there's still some of that. There's that bad blood
bitter
between
about
the
it,
town
are they?
and the city. But one of the things that I've prided myself on during my time, especially as mayor, is working with the town chair, whoever it may be. And currently it's Mary. And we have some of that bad blood and some of the we're not going to work together. It's fallen along the wayside, and I think it just better serves all of us, especially when it comes to the lake. I mean, the lake is important. It's a very important economic asset for tourism and all kinds of things. If it's not a healthy lake, then we're not going to have people coming here to fish and swim.
And there's a lot of people that live on that lake.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a large lake, and you don't have happy citizens either.
Exactly. And so that's probably the easiest and fastest way to describe it, is that, 90% of the land and the property around the lake is all in the Delavan Township area. And I don't, myself and the council can't control those types of issues.
Right. Well, I mean, it's good to hear that everybody is trying to work together because, I mean, let's face it, Delavan is Delavan.
Yes.
And, borders don't necessarily, keep you from experiencing the same things or needing the same things. And so...
And you want to find those ways to work together to be more efficient for both municipalities. And we have explored that, whether it's park and rec programs, or we're also... over the years have talked about some of those first responder type.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to coordinate some things together? And
because it's two separate fire and police departments, right? So is theirs also volunteer?
They actually went to referendum, and I think they, as I understand it, they will be again. So they're it's very different. So we want to keep the system that we have right now with dedicated volunteers. I mean, because we know that the expense goes up
But the city of Delavan gets to brag on the brick road and
Yes.
the beautiful little downtown.
Absolutely. That's totally been revitalized in the last 6 years.
It's amazing what they've done.
Yeah.
The business owners in the city. I mean, everybody, again, that's a work together
Yes,
point.
absolutely.
Because you can't do that. One person, one business can't do it, and the city can't do it by themselves. And so, and like it or not, quaint little downtowns, people will always love that.
Yes.
And so
And you're
it's
seeing more of
imperative.
that.
Absolutely.
Coming back to that.
Yeah.
And going back to their roots, and not just in our community, but around the state. And stuff.
Absolutely. So just a closing argument. You've got a couple minutes here. What would you like to say to the voters? Also, make sure that they know what your website is, how to get in touch with you for more questions.
Yeah.
Have a couple minutes. Go at it.
Thank you. Again, I think myself, I've certainly earned. I'd like to thank the opportunity to serve another term based on the progress that we've seen in the last 6 years. I think we want to build on that. There's still projects that are outlined, one of which is our library expansion. It's going to be great for our downtown and also with that overall revitalization. So I think, again, not only do our citizens who are going to immediately weigh in on this election see that and know that, and overwhelmingly, I hear it like, wow, we like where the community is going. I mean, You're not going to please everybody.
No.
I learned that a long time ago, but you're always striving to try to do the best that you can along with the council, and it's a team effort. And I think because we've really worked well together, this current city council and myself, is why we've seen the progress that we've seen. And so I think I've earned the right. I'm going to continue to work hard. I'm still a young guy, and we want the opportunity to continue to serve and make a difference and give back to our community. And so I would say for more information, go to reelectryan.com, my website. Always can find me on Facebook, both my personal page or my public page, Mayor Ryan Schroeder. So I welcome, again, more importantly, stop in, visit me on a first Saturday.
Where are those?
Those are right at City Hall.
Okay.
Sometimes when we have a unique, in fact, the train show, we talked about the train show prior to this. I actually had a listening session, and it was a way to encourage people to come out and have fun with their family, but also have an opportunity to ask a question or just share a point of view. Yeah. So sometimes when there's a unique thing, another time I did it was when we did the Never Say Never community build. It fell on that first Saturday, so I said, come on out. Come out, see the work that's being done to bring this park to a reality, which has been a great asset not only to our community, but throughout Walworth County, I believe. It's a tourism type draw. So, yeah, there's lots of opportunities. I am a better representative when I hear from the people that I serve, and I work for them.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Again, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes.
This is important.
Yes, absolutely. And again, you can find him on social media, find him at the website, find him at City Hall. And if you have any more questions for Mayor Schroeder, you can certainly get in touch with him and ask him. Thanks again.
Yeah. Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate it.